Okay, so we will continue our program because I know that our next speaker is also here, and we're going to now travel from Fiji. We went to Canada, or yeah, basically to Canada, and now we are going to where are we? Australia, for the illustrious Dr. T. Tamal Krsna Das from the Gold Coast of Australia. Let me actually have him on mute. Dr. T, thank you for joining us. Let me give some bio. He first met devotees. I mean, we're blessed today with so many devotees with long-time association. He met devotees in 1972, met Srila Gurudeva in 2004. And in that year, he received both Harinam and Diksha, Harinam in Sydney, Australia, and Diksha in Italy, and has, like so many of the others today, been doing much seva over the years. I understand you were Gurudev's magician and comedian. That is incredible. I've never heard of anyone else with this seva, so I cannot wait to hear this. And also that you stayed with him in 2005 for 5 days and for 6 weeks in 2008. So much lovely association. And also that you donated your property to Srila Gurudev, and it's been in service probably as an extended temple for many years. And that you are also, in addition to being Gurudev's magician and comedian, his traveling doctor, which we know during his sickness pastimes is really critical. So without further ado, Prabhu, let me just turn the floor over to you. Thank you so much in advance for your Pushpanjali. And
can I just add, Manini, on
sure.
the Zoom, Prabhu has got Dr. T. We often know him as Dr. T. Just to clarify, he's not Dr. IT, he's Dr. T.
Right. And not Mr. T. Because I pity the fool who thinks Dr. T.
No, but he's also Dr. T as in transcendently patient, because he's not au fait with all this technology. And thank the Lord for Gandharvika, because we were all trying to get Dr. T online, and we managed it eventually, but it was through her skills that somehow she managed to work the magic and get Dr. T online. So thanks for your patience, Prabhu.
Haribol. All right, Dr. T, the floor is yours. Dandavats.
Righty bowl, boys and girls. It's Dr. T here. Thank you for your wrap up. Thank you for your kind sentiments. I'm not strangling my wife. It's the peacocks. No, I'm not married, you know. Here I am in Gurudev's Tirtha. This is his Tirtha, and I'm the guardian. And I think, first of all, if you allow me, I will reverse and I will show you the peacocks who are coming here for darshan with Gurudev. And can you see? There's some little baby ones there too. Oh, there's a bit of contretemps amongst the white and the black. Can you see?
Yes.
They're here for darshan with Gurudev. And this is Gurudev's ashram, and on 30 acres. And he blessed us with his presence here, as you say, in 2005. So anyway, now you've had a look. I will show you, without any further ado, we'll show you inside Gurudev's room, which is set up exactly as it was when he was here in 2005 and 2008. And there's his Vyasasan, where in the mornings he would speak to anyone, visitors, visiting devotees. They would come here for darshan. This was Maharaja's bed, and the fireplace that we lit up sometime. But here's Gurudev's bed, where he would, every day he was so absorbed in writing, and you can see peacocks are having fun. They're out the back now, and you can see them there. Anyway, it's Gurudev's bed, and he would have a nice view outside. And I keep it. Yes, we know. I'll shut the door. It's like this every morning. They want darshan with Gurudev. So please let me sit and I'll turn.
Okay, you're back. Thank you. You're on mute, Dr. T. Hold on. You must unmute again.
Okay. Oh, I've got Krishna on my shoulder. See? He's up there in the picture. Anyway, I'm delighted to be here with you. I don't know how many are there out there, but please accept my blessings from Dr. D. Blessed be from Dr. T to you all out there. You know, I was so fortunate. My experience originally was my mother, of course, brought me up in the Christian religion, and it was in the early 70s when I had my clinic in town next to the beach. The Prabhupada disciples used to come to see me for treatment. So that was my first contact. And I went to their gatherings, and slowly, because, you know, we were all impersonalists, or I was anyway, back in the late 60s, early 70s. And so I got attracted, and then their spiritual master, he wasn't really a guru. He was a very good, what we just say. Anyway, I learned a lot from him, and but it was only sort of just basic, and which I appreciate. It was very good, and but it wasn't until 2000 that Krishna pulled me out of that sangha, and I was in limbo for a few years. And that guru, Chris Butler, he was like a facilitator, very good facilitator, but I wouldn't say he was, you know, a guru in the classic sense. But anyway, Krishna pulled me out of that, and I was quite relieved, really. And it was in 2004 that a Prabhupada disciple invited me to go to India with him and his wife, and we went to Mayapur, where Jayapataka claimed me as his doctor. And I was there for a few weeks, treating all the devotees there and having lunch on top of the Lotus building with him and I and his servants, and feeding us enormous amounts of food, of prasadam. And it was going for swims in the Ganga and morning walk, and he was very kind to me. But anyway, I didn't feel he was for me anyway. And I told him, I said, look, unless you lose weight, unless you concentrate on your health more, you're a heart attack and a stroke in the making. And I told him several times that over the years. Anyway, I even invited him here so we could, you know, get his weight down and his health. So then we went to Vrindavan, and then coming back, this was in 2004, in the early year, beginning of the year after the India sojourn. And then I had one evening, I was very forlorn and crying and weeping to Krishna for what to do. And the miracle was, the next morning, Bhakti Sar Maharaj turned up on my doorstep. I've never heard of this sangha. Anyway, it's one of the local devotees who was a patient of mine. That was Rishikesh. That feels better. I might have a sip myself. Is there a commercial break? Anyway, I looked out the side of the door here, outside Gurudev's room, and I saw this devotee, Rishikesh, walking up. He was a patient of mine, and he brought this gentleman in saffron cloth and up to the house, and we offered our obeisances, and I was very delighted. I was kind of shocked, actually, astonished. And we spoke for some time, and he said that he had a friend who was in India who was very sick with 2 doses of typhoid and a nasty abscess on his rear end. And he said, could he please bring him here? And that was Aranya Maharaj, now Prem Prayojan. And he arrived 2 days later. And even though he was told not to fly from India, but he did. And I put them up in a beautiful bamboo cabin here for a number of, I think it was 2 or 3 months or something. Anyway, got his health together and treatments regularly. And they invited me to go to Sydney. They said, would you like to go to Sydney to meet Gurudev? I said, would I? I said, take me. And we went to Sydney, and they had a program in the western suburbs. And but first of all, they took me to this house owned by this Indian family on the shores of Botany Bay, south of Sydney Harbour, and a lovely big home. And there was a few devotees there during the day. Anyway, she asked me if she could help her with her hip. She had an accident 6 months prior, and no one could help her. I gave her one treatment and she was better. And they invited me to stay there that night. And I was in, so that night I was in Krishna Das's room. I'm trying to work out whether I met Gurudev first or, yes, I did. No, Madhu Maharaj, he was Gurudev's guinea pig. He sent Madhu Maharaj for a treatment. So I had to treat Madhu Maharaj before I eventually got to, taking care of Gurudev's health. But I was ushered into his bedroom, and the Swamis, there was Sajjan Maharaj and Narayana Maharaj, Bhakti Maharaj, around his Vyasasan in the bedroom. And I walked in there and I offered my Dandavat Pranams, and I said, where have you been all my life? He said, I've been waiting for you. And so that was a nice little interlude, a nice darshan, and for some time. But that evening, the lady of the house, she invited me to stay in the room next to Gurudev's. And next to Gurudev, there was the wall, there was my head here, there was the wall, and there was Gurudev's head here sleeping in the other room. How much closer can you get? And then, of course, Krishna Das, who is famed for his snoring, I moved the mattress out next to and put it outside Gurudev's entrance to the bedroom, the door. Anyway, the next day, I'm in the gardens, the front, just myself, and there's Gurudev there with Madhu Maharaj, and there I am. I'm playing soccer with Gurudev with a little tennis ball. We're kicking it around. we just met Gurudev, and we're throwing the tennis ball into the ocean, and the dog had retrieved it. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. And later on that day, he was being carried upstairs. And I was on my knees, and he embraced me, and he said, he spoke about something for one moment or two, and he said, you must be initiated without delay. You must be initiated without delay. You must be initiated without delay. I've gone, okay, I surrender. I give up. Because I said, Gurudev, I'm just an ignorant fool, And he said to Brajanath, what did he say? He said, he's an ignorant fool, Gurudev. So there was that later on that afternoon that with Aranya Maharaj in his bedroom, and he initiated me, gave me a new name, Tamal Krishna Das. And wow, it was overwhelming. And anyway, I've got to get back to the Gold Coast. We came back, and with Gurudev's blessing, and we stayed here for a couple more weeks. And Narayana Maharaj and Bhakti Maharaj, they invited me, I think it was instigated by Gurudev, to travel with them around the world, from New Zealand to Hawaii, east, west coast of America, over to Europe, various places in Europe, Italy, and France, and Germany, and Ireland, England. And some of those places were with Gurudev, or to see, hook up with Gurudev in Italy, I think it was. Anyway, they said, we want to pay your airfares and expenses. It won't cost you a cent. Anyway, I fought them off bravely. I did. And they twisted my arm. you know, oh, okay, I'll come, I'm coming. Okay, oh, thank you so much. So that was a 6 months tour. Ending up in Puri. We went to Mumbai for a program there with Gurudeva, and then over by rail. We went by train up to Puri, and then I left. I came home back to Australia. In 2005, I was in Hawaii with Gurudeva after a program there on the Big Island. And he was sick in Houston. He couldn't make that one, but we had a lot of fun there. We had a lot of good, daily programs, and that was really nice. And I went over to the North Shore to be there when Gurudeva arrived, and I stayed there with him for a couple of weeks. He was very poorly, very poorly. Boy, my heart sank. Anyway, I had a rental, and I would pick him up every morning and take him down to Harikatha for walks around the park. And after a couple of weeks, he was picking up, getting stronger. And then it was at the park at Harikatha, and I offered him this property for him as a, his perpetual ashram for the generations to come and for the benefit of the community at large. Anyway, he accepted it. And I'm not sure whether he came here first, but anyway, he came here in 2005 for a week, and then again in 2008. Now, I'd like to share something with you, which is actually miraculous. 2008 was a big year. He was here, and then we had a program in Venice later on that year, and it was there that I was sitting with him outside his room. Anyway, he looked at me very sternly, looking right through me, and he offered me sannyas. I said, Gurudeva, I don't even come up to a sannyasi's ankle. I said, how shocked was that? I said, no, I'm just a simple, foolish monk, Gurudeva, by your grace, and I don't think I could, Anyway, I appreciated it. I thanked him very much. Anyway, it was earlier on that year. He came here, of course, in 2008. Are you still there, Didi?
Yes, I'm here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
2005. Now, I wanted to show you something, which was amazing. My mother was the same age as Gurudeva in 2005. She was 85. They were both 85. And she'd heard a lot about Gurudeva from me. And initially she said, is his name Dave? I said, no, it's Gurudeva. I explained about what is Guru, Gurudeva. Anyway, she wanted to come and meet him. And she got dressed up in lovely white. I picked her up in town at her home in lovely white slacks and a white top and a gold heart-shaped pendant. And she just looked glowing. And she came out here. I introduced her to Gurudeva, and they were sitting on the couch together, and they were like a couple of kids, they were. And they're both laughing, and and that afternoon, Mother was walking. She was going for a walk, and Gurudeva was outside sitting on the swing chair, and she came up to him and got on her knees and asked for initiation and inspiration. And he initiated her on the spot. New name, beads, neck beads, mantra. And she couldn't quite get her head around the full-on Maha mantra. So he gave her a simplified version, which was only for her and no one else. Hari Krishna, Hari Rama, Hari Krishna, Hari Rama. That was it. So at least we got the 3 words there. Anyway, now this is what it is. My mother was suffering from leukemia. She had 3 months to live. Her spleen was swelling. The blood was up 15 times higher. Now, right now, I'm going to reverse the camera again. I'm going to show you pictures that are right behind me here. Now, you can see you can see Mother. We're all sitting outside there just after initiation. there's another nice picture of them having a nice conversation and questions. And now this is the one where Gurudev was sitting, Mother was sitting next to Gurudev, and he has his hand over her head. Now you can't see this, but under his hand, compared to the background wall, is white light. You can't probably see it.
Dr. T, you're muted again. Let me ask you to unmute. And you're saying that there was white light coming from Srila Gurudev's hand in that picture?
Yes, you can't. I don't think you can see it, but it is quite noticeable compared to the back wall. And anyway, so that's one picture of them having a lot of fun, laughter, you know, this and that. He was saying, "You are now my sister." No, sorry. Yeah, you are my sister. No, and also you are my daughter. Mother couldn't understand that, but she did after a while. Now this is the thing. Before I lose concentration, I took her to the hospital 6 weeks after Gurudev left to go to Navadvip, and no, wherever it was anyway. And the doctor came into the room and he was looking at the file. He looked quite shocked. He said, "You don't have leukemia anymore. Your blood is normal." And I said, "Well, my mother has lived a very pure life. She's vegetarian. She says never say die, and she's angelic." And I said to the doctor that she's met a very saintly person on a par with Lord Jesus, or even higher if you wish. And then he smirked and he just walked out of the room and slammed the file and the door. I said, "Well, thank you very much anyway for your help." Anyway, this is a thing. For 3 months, the prognosis of 3 months to live, she lived another 5 years. You with me? She lived another 5 years. And she departed.
That's phenomenal testimony.
That's a miracle. And she departed this world 3 months before he did. And then Gurudev called me to be with him in Delhi. And how are we going for time now?
Hold on, Doctor, I can tell you have about 10 minutes.
Oh, very good. And so I'm eternally grateful and, for Gurudev's blessings. Now, while we're here, I want to promote my book. This is 30 years since its inception. And it's a story of Brindi, the orphan fawn, spiritualized book, and it has Gurudev's blessing. And this is the opening page, a beautiful dedication to Prabhupada and Gurudev. And Gurudev gave me his blessing on this book when he was here. And to the help of Pran Kishori in Bulgaria, she did a marvelous job of all there's 130 pages. It's 30 years since its inception. It's a fundraiser for this for Gurudev's ashram here. Actually, this ashram here, Gurudev loved the place. You know, we have a river going around. He thought the river it reminded him of Jamuna. There's a big mountain behind here which reminded him of Govardhan, and then the peacocks reminded him of Vrindavan. He said this place is Vrindavan, and he called it Sri Radha Giridhari Gaudiya Mat. So that's the name of Gurudev's ashram here. This is book 2. And the Adventures of Brindi, the Orphan Fawn. Here is book 3. There's about 130 pages of beautiful poems, of beautiful color photos and poems of the whole story. That's the waterfall up the road here with Santa surfing down it. Now this is about Christmas with the resident swans here, and my houseboat you can see towed by 4 deer and 4 swan on Christmas Eve around the world. And there's philosophy interwoven, and the peacocks are agreeing with me. Yes, Hari Bol. Anyway, it can be found on Amazon.com. You type in The Adventures of Brindy the Orphan Fawn, and there it is. I have some copies here because a few devotees have been, a few people, some people have been waiting for years for them, and I appreciate their patience. Now, coming back to me again. So Amazon, anyway, thanks for allowing me to promote the books. They're full color gloss covers, and that deer is a true story. She was born here, her mother died, I looked after her and raised her, and I thought, well, I'd write a book. It's about you could write a book about it, which I've done, with a lot of help from well-wishing people. And we just received these printed versions last week, and about 25 copies, and I've only got a few left. But anyway, it's out there, distributed on the Worldwide Book Distribution Network. Anyway, so hopefully we'll raise some money. Prem Priojan's very excited with it. He wants to have it printed in Russia and to different languages and promote it to raise funds for here, for amenities, for retreats, and anything else here, maintenance, which is always ongoing. So I think that I have the feeling, because I had so much help with it over the last 30 years, that it will be manifest. Well, Gurudev, right here, he gave his blessing on these books, and so it can only be successful. Anyway, so we have a trust. Are we going again?
No, you're still here, Doctor.
We have a trust of 10 devotees. Here's Brajanath, Prem Prayojan, of course, Bhakti Sar Maharaj. He's still out there, and Ashram Maharaj, Brajanath, and a few others. It's about 10 anyway. So when I leave this body, it'll be going on. I mean, what can we take with us? Well, you know what we can take with us. That's our spiritual bank account.
Yeah, that's the most priceless. It's better than an offshore account.
Better than an offshore account. And I think we must align ourselves with the divine, and all will be fine.
Hey, and Dr. T, there's the question that has come. How are the books connected with Srila Gurudev's teachings? I know that you dedicate the books to him. You have Srila Gurudev's Vani woven in, or can you share a little more about that?
Well, the book starts off with Brindy being born, and then she's lost because her mother, the parents, the whole herd is washed away in a flood. And she walks through the forest and feeling very forlorn. Well, she is a fawn. And she hears the chanting of the holy names. And she comes to this riverbank, and she sees Santa on the other side of the river, chanting the holy names on his guitar. That's looking from the other side of the river. So there's a whole page, and interwoven is some nice positive philosophy, of persistence. In the second book, there's a philosophy. There's the, you are not the body, you are a spirit soul. Santa's giving her instruction because she's asking questions. And where are we? Anyway, it's going to take too much time looking at these, looking for the pages. But anyway, so it's interwoven, and in the back there's some more pictures of Gurudev there that you saw before. That's a dedication to my parents, that one. And that chap Klaus on the bottom, he was he was a hard worker here. He built so much. He's an expert in bricklaying and sandstone or stonemason. But it's just, it's in a very subtle way. There's the philosophy coming in there, because it's a children's story picture book, but it's for adults alike. And it's the beautiful photos of the, the peacocks. And it's just interwoven. I really can't pick on anything. There's the peacocks battling, like, for their territory.
Yes.
For their mating season. And just so fortunate to get a lot of those really good pictures. There's Brindy crossing the Cascades, and the Swannies are giving her a hard time. Those swans used to be here. When Gurudeva was here, there was all those swans, Australian native ducks, deer, and the peacocks. And they would, the view out his window, he would be seeing them every day. And of course, the cows as well. We had Jersey cows here. But all those animals, except for the peacocks, all died of old age. And the beautiful cows, Jamuna, Gopala, Madana Mahana, Gurudev would, go out and stroke them every day. And, very fortunate cows. And they had the bells around their neck. And in the last book, there's some pictures of what people get for Christmas. And you can see there's the cows, the beautiful Jersey cows, with their bells around their neck. And the bells have got they've got Jagannath on them. And they used to interact with Brindy. There she is with the cows. And that's Jamuna there, picking through the presents to look for her bells. All the presents. No, you've got to have a childlike mind to do this, as you know.
That cow looked like she had a crescent moon on her head almost. Did she have a
That's
crescent
right.
moon?
Yeah, she does.
Chandra.
Jamuna was a favourite. Now the cows, because all our programs here, for open for all, we'd have kids come here, and the cows, we would tether them up near the temple, have our temple down there, which Gurudev would sat in and spoke when he was here in 2005 and 2008. Anyway, the kids would come out and they would, very tentatively, they were a bit afraid. I said, look, don't be afraid, come up closer. And they would eventually stroke the cows and they would look in their eyes and they would say to their parents quite often, Mum, Dad, I don't want to eat the cows anymore. Look, these beautiful big brown eyes, how can anyone eat them? And a lot of the kids, actually their parents too, turned into vegetarian. And, so that was a great thing. And of course, we'd circumambulate the cows and I'm just trying to find that one picture with a reflection of Brindy in the eye of the cow. I don't think I'm going to find it. When we hang up, I probably will. I'll give up on that. So it's got the mood. The books have got the mood, and it will help with spiritualizing, especially with some of the very soft introduction to science of identity. And I think it's book 3, where Brindy is giving some instruction by, he was teaching her, here we are. Can you read that?
Let me see. Wait, hold it up again, Doctor, because let me see if I can pin you. Yeah.
Who are you? Yeah, that's a whole book on who you are. Who are you?
So
and that's
cute.
And that's Reincarnation Explained. So Krishna, Santa's, means saint, and he's talking to her. Keep your heart light and childlike. Be open to the truth.
Life comes from life. Of this, there is no proof. Don't be easily tricked by things that look good. Some things appear easy, have danger hidden behind their hood. We appear at birth into this world and take on the shape we are given. At some stage, this body will pass on and we get a new shape to live in. Just as a caterpillar that spins its own cocoon to find the arrow butterfly when emerging next full moon. Anyway, that's the kind of poems that go all the way, that weave all the way through, and
Wow.
it's uplifting. It's uplifting.
Thank you.
And the people who come here, which is, you know, we have regular programs here, not just on Bhakti, but some of the people teach yoga, and there was some people yesterday teaching Wim Hof breathing and Tibetan sound singing bowls, and an ice bath. And the people here, about 15 of them, never been here before, or some of them have been here before. They commented on, as soon as you drive in here, there's this wonderful uplifting energy and tranquility and peace. It's like a portal of peace. I said, yes, well, we've had a lot of saintly people stay here that originally had a good mood. And, but, you know, the people that come here, I said, you're putting your love into the place. And it's got that mood. It's got that feeling of a spiritual, of a healing sanctuary. And I've got my clinic here now. I don't do much of that anymore. I had 50 years, you know, treating. But that's what Gurudeva said to me. He said, I want you. He had his arms like this, but this was in Sydney, because Ranya Maharaja and Bhakti Sar were telling him about everything I do, including all the instruments I play and the clinic, and oh God, so many things. Anyway, he said, I want you. He had his arms like, I want you to treat all man and woman, you know. So I do. That's my, you know, a bit of savor. And he, of course, when he was here, I would come down and check out his pulse, and, you know, and talk to him, maybe show him a magic trick and take his mind off the, you know, the intensity of his writing. And so that was a nice thing to do. And my mother would come and see him every couple of days and bring some flowers, and so the time went very quickly. And in that time, he went to Wollongbar, just across the border, for a few days for a program there, Bhakti Yoga program. And we're just trying to think. Yeah, so the time was, you know, it was so transcendent, and the mood here was just so uplifting. And so I bring him down a smoothie every day because I didn't like his diet. And as a, you know, and too much medication. I don't want to, I could write a book about this. And the way he was treated in Delhi, I wasn't happy with that. I had to make a few, you know, suggestions, which, yeah. Anyway, his diet was never all that good, really. So I used to come down with a watermelon juice, or a fruit smoothie with blueberries and things like that. And then, he put down his books, and he used to love that. And, you know, I'd check his pulse. Now, I don't want to end up in a sad note, but he called me to be with him when he was in Delhi and very ill. And so I rushed up there. Fortunately, it was just after my mother's. My mother had a Malati Didi, had a unattended cremation. We had a little service, memorial, fortunately. And then I went to be with Gurudeva. And every day I would, you know, be in his room. And I was in there the very last time I saw Gurudeva, very last time. And he was sleeping. And I very, very, very gently lifted up the woolen blanket, and I just gently got his hand out so I could feel his pulse. It was very strong. He had a constitution of a cast iron elephant, really, and he was just amazing. And he did. And the pulse was very strong, you know. And even though he was lying there with this, you know, in this situation, anyway, he awoke. And he turned his head, he looked at me, And I was holding his hand like you do with your handshake. You hold his hand with your right hand as a handshake, and the left hand's feeling his pulse. Anyway, he looked at me and he squeezed my hand, not hard, but very with love and affection. It was just a loving, affectionate squeeze, you know, and he just didn't let go. And there was no word spoken. And tears are coming to my eyes. And eventually he let go, and he turned his head to go back to sleep. And I put his hand back under the woolen cover. And Prem Prayojan, he was going to go to Delhi anyway, imminently. So Prem Prayojan invited me to go to Delhi with him, which we did. I think we stayed in Govardhan. Gurudeva was going to Govardhan. And that was the last time I saw him. Even in Govardhan, I saw him, but I didn't get to be with him. No, hang on. I didn't even see him in Govardhan. There was always too many devotees around. And I thought, well, I'm just going to have that last memory of him and I in his bed in Delhi with that squeeze in the hand. And that what he was trying to tell me with that squeeze in the hand was never let go. Never let go. Hang on, hang on, hang on to me eternally, you know, like that. So that's the mood I got. Yeah, so, and, you know, we have these fond memories of Guru. There they are fighting out there again. Anyway, I could go on and on, but I'm sure there's other speakers who I'm impeding their time. Any more question?
No, there's no more questions, but I just have to say it's been very wonderful having you offer this Pushpanjali, Dr. T, and you had such glorious association. And thank you so much for the darshan of this beautiful space you have in Queensland, Australia. It's quite lovely. And I'm sure many devotees who are watching are thinking, how can I get there to partake of some of that rarefied air?
It's a place of no anxiety.
Yeah, like Vaikuntha. So it's a Vaikuntha place, sounds like.
I go into town, have a surf sometimes, maybe do some shopping and get the hell out. It's only 10 minutes to the beach from here. But Prem Prayojan wants to come here next year, if possible, with some brahmacharis and to do some work here to get ready for, you know, a full-time ashram, and hopefully with some help from devotees locally. That time is near, and Gurudeva has his blessing upon it. And I want to get it, you know, up and running. I don't know. Who knows when we're going to leave the body? But I'd like to have it, you know, ready and the trust in order. So that's watertight. And, you know, and then, you know, that's, we do our best. God does the rest.
Amen. That is lovely. Well, thank you so much. We have had quite an amazing international program today. And it's lovely how there was like a bit of a through line with the amount of seva and the amount of miraculous Pushpanjali, you know, that everyone shared.
One funny thing, we used to have a lot of fun, a lot of laughter going on here, you know, when there was Brajanath, Mother Maharaj, and the two monks. You know, one was preparing meals and the other one was translating Sanskrit to English. Anyway, I'm going for a walk with Gurudev. We're going for a walk down here to the creek. And he looked at me, he stopped, he looked at me with that stare. I hate it when he does that. And he asked a question. He asked me a question, and he's done it before to me. And I just, you know, I just go some shock. I go into shell shock. He says, what's bhakti? And he's looking at me like he's almost toe to toe, nose to nose. He says, what's bhakti with those beautiful big eyes? And I've gone, I had to think quick. I've gone, Gurudev, if you don't know, who does? And he looked at me, shook his head. We walked on.
That's really great.